Good morning, everyone. Monday, 2025. And we're still having issues with California. California on fire. It's been 4 decades already. 4 decades is not easy. 4 decades, 40 years. 40 years already. California suffering because of the high temperatures. But normally this happens on June's and instead of January. So what's going on with the global warming, Mother Nature? How can we deal with this? How can we prevent? How can we help each other? We want to appreciate Canadians. They're helping us out too. Let's check out some images, what's been going on still in California.
To speak would describe the damage as unprecedented. It comes as countless individuals are stepping up to the call for help. The tornadoes work to contain multiple wildfires in Southern California around the clock. Volunteers like Randy Ogden are also hard at work, offering shelter and support to the others, currently assisting nearly 4,000 people. Through it all, the sense of community remains strong. Unseasonable weather conditions have added to the challenges firefighters have faced on the ground.
We're talking about these conditions like we would see in June, not in January. So those types of things is what's exhausting them the most. They're working 16 hours a day on the fire line.
Although winds have calmed for now, crews are preparing for the return of Santa Ana winds, expected to intensify. A chapter of the American Red Cross plans to send 2 more volunteers to Southern California tomorrow. Live on the South Side, Connor McGill, News 4.
During this wildfire tragedy, what you're seeing here is the destruction of James Barrow's Pacific Palisades home. Moment by moment, this is all captured by the camera in his Tesla. Now, James Barrow, we connected on social media. I invited him to come on to the show tonight to talk about this because you have quite the story. Let's just start with, obviously, we're so sorry that this is happening.
So sad, very devastating. Lots of families, lots of people homeless right now. They lost their homes. They worked hard for several years. Many people have been paying their homes like for 20, 30 years and everything's gone. Just at the winds blowing.
You can get an overview from Air 7, but at recovery.lacounty.gov/EatonFire, you will find this. There is also a same page that ends with Palisades Fire. But let me show you what we're talking about. You see, of course, the damage. Now, the reason this is not a complete take on what's going on is because they have gone to each one of these areas, and you will see houses, some black, red, green, and you can actually use a search bar to find your address. But this is sad, folks. You tap on this and you can see that there's 50% or more destruction here. You can actually click on a photo and you actually see the property that you searched. Again, this is the Eaton Fire, and each one of these areas have been mapped specifically, but we also know there's a lot of damage in areas. We've seen it from Air 7 along Fair Oaks, along Moringa, so there are other places that have not been mapped. Again, that is one reason they have restricted the access for people wanting to go check on their property. But if you look at the Palisades Fire, again, this is simply what has been mapped right now by LA County officials. And if you go really far down in, a lot of damage over there, over here as well. You can click on a home. This would be possibly your address. It says there's more than 50% destruction. And again, you open the image and you can see what that house looked like. This has 2 websites. Again, LA County has offered one for the Eaton Fire and one for the Palisades Fire. And you can find those websites on our website, and you can see right there.
And the ground as they brace for the worst of those punishing Santa Ana winds. The National Weather Service warning conditions to be as bad as it gets, with the potential for hurricane-force winds over the next 48 hours. 13 million are under red flag warnings stretching north of Santa Barbara to San Diego County. With more than 8,000 firefighters now on the front lines, officials insist they're better prepared with more ground and air resources this time around. Just behind us here, you can see a massive burn scar. There's no more smoke, no more fire, but there's still a danger, and that's why there are lines of firefighters right now with cutting tools like chainsaws and axes, clearing all the brush, making sure there's no fuel in case those winds pick up and carry embers.
We were with CAL FIRE as they worked to clear brush before those dangerous winds hit burn zones.
So you're worried about this area because there's still brush here, and it's so close to those homes right there. That's correct.
Firefighters lined up on cliffs, scaling canyons, and on the lookout.
They're putting their lives on the line to get out in front of something that most people wouldn't get across.
Over the weekend, California's National Guard dropping flame retardant on hot spots in the Palisades fire. After flare-ups forced new evacuations in Encino and Brentwood, triggering this eerie fire-nado.
Is there anything citizens can help in California? And is it overpopulated? Is it because people are not paying attention when they throw in litter and trash and they were probably cooking outside or doing camping? You need to be aware and be careful on those things. Yeah, some areas 100 miles an hour. Some areas 100 miles an hour. Right now they go in between 35 to 50, 45 miles an hour. But still, temperatures between 60s and 70s, which is pretty warm for the time of a year for being January. So it's been very dry, and that's not helping too much. Let's continue watching what's going on.
The origins of the infernos running rampant. The ATF now leading a newly formed task force to investigate the cause of the Palisades fire. As multiple law enforcement sources tell NBC News that a possible human cause is an early focus in this case.
They're identifying cause and origin for each of these separate fires. There's so many of them. None have been ruled out of arson.
The death toll has now reached 24 and expected to rise, including 95-year-old that stay out of evacuation zones.
People are saying, I just want to go look at my house and I want to see what's left. We know that, but we have people literally looking for the remains of your neighbors.
Law enforcement in the region announcing more than 70 arrests, including looting and burglary charges. The FBI says unauthorized drones over the fire zones are now well into the double digits as they search for the drone pilot that crashed into a Canadian super scooper last week, grounding the aircraft for days. Today, the Los Angeles Unified School District reopened most of its 1,000 campuses, giving students some return to normalcy.
I've been pretty scared coming here, but but as long as the doors are open, I feel safe.
Schools damaged by the fires or inside the evacuation zones remain closed, with tens of thousands.
Thank you so much for supporting our channel. Hit the button likes, comment down below, and let us know where you're watching from. I appreciate you sharing our videos, and subscribe please to our channel.